All right, let's see what we know. See what we got so far. All right, tell me something that you know. Emily, tell me something you know.
That if you're using the same sign.
Same sign. Okay, so is there a greatest common factor? No. Okay, so you said no greatest common factor. So we've got same sign. How do you know that? Okay, so this tells me they're going to be the same. What are they going to be?
Negative.
They're both going to be negative. And you can get that by looking at term B. So ask yourself, what are they going to be? And look at term B to see. Okay? So I know they're both going to be negative. All right. What else do you know, my dear?
You have to get x squared.
I'm going to have to get x squared. Okay, how am I going to do that?
X times x.
All right, I know that I'm going to have at least an x times an x. All right. What's the other thing that you know about term A?
It has two things again.
Two factors.
Yes.
All right, what are those factors?
1 times 8.
1 times 8
2 times 4.
and 2 times 4. Now, that's not a big deal. It just means that we have more choices. Okay? It just means we have more choices that we're going to have to pick from, that we're going to have to weed out and cipher through. All right, AJ, what else do you know?
I know that 5 is prime.
You know that 5 is prime. Ooh, we like that because why?
Because it makes it easier on us.
Makes it easier on us. We know we're just going to have 1 and 5, right? So this time C is prime instead of A being prime, but at least one of them is prime. Makes our life a little bit easier. Okay? All right, so I know that I need to find a combination that's going to do what? That gets term B. How is that combination going to go about getting term B? Am I looking for the difference or the sum? I'm looking for the sum. Madison, how did you know the sum?
Because term C is positive.
Term C is positive, so that means I need the sum of it. Okay? Now, here's what I like about these, is that while you can use a calculator to help you with the multiplication, you can't just put these in your calculator and expect to get an answer. You got to do a little work. Okay? So, and you got to think for yourself. All right? So you got to kind of work through that process. Oh, not subtract. Not subtract, my bad. We said I had to do what? I meant to write sum, and instead I wrote sub. So we got to add to get that term. Okay? I do know, though, that C is already prime, so I know that I'm going to have a 1 and a 5, right? Everybody agree with that? And so the 1 is going to have to come down here to get multiplied, and the 5 is going to have to go up there to get multiplied. Everybody agree with that? And I know that I'm going to at least have an x and an x here. I'm not sure yet about my numbers. Everybody agree? Okay. So, I know I want to add to get 22. So let's think this through. Where do I know something that can't go? Mia?
8 can't go with 5.
Okay, the 8 can't go up here. Because if an 8 goes here, 8 times 5 is going to give me what? 40. That's going to be way too much. Right? Could the 8 go with the 1? It could, right? So if I put the 8 with the 1, that means the 1's got to go up here, right, with the 5. 8 and 1 gives me 8. 5 and 1 gives me 5. What's 8 plus 5?
13.
13. That's not big enough. Right? So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means I can't use 1 and 8 at all. Right? I've tried it both ways and it doesn't work. So it means 2 and 4's got to go somewhere. All right? What do you want? Mia, which makes sense.
4 and 5.
Okay, why does that make sense? Because that equals 20, and that's pretty close to 22, right? So 4x times 5 is going to get me 20x, everybody agree? And then if that's the case, the 1's going to have to go with the 2, and that's going to get me 2x for a grand total of 22x, which we like. Everybody agree? All right, so that means these have to go together. These have to go together. Everybody agree? So I can put my 4x here and my 2x here. My 4 has to go with my 1 and my 2 has to be with my 5. Ta-da, there we go. Yes, my dear?
Does it matter which one you put that?
Wait,
Like the 2x?
the binomials?
Yeah.
Like, could this binomial come first?
Yeah.
Yes. As long as the 2x is in the same binomial as the 5, and as long as the 4x is in the same binomial as the 1, and as long as these have the right signs, life is good for us. Okay? Do we feel okay about this? Yes or maybe? Okay, on your red one ready, white one working.